What is going on, everybody? I am here and back with my Week 16 NFL picks. I apologize for my voice. If you can hear it, I am sick. Nothing too major, but just a cold. Hopefully better by Christmas time, so I can spend time with the family and not be, bedridden. But we're going to push through. I'm going to give you my picks. I apologize for the raspiness in my voice. So anyways, let's get to it. Normally I do a week 15 recap, the previous week recap of my picks. Just go watch the previous week picks. They're in there. I don't even remember all of how I did. Just so you guys know, I do all my picks. I'm giving them against the spread. I'll tell you if I like the bet, I don't like the bet. Remember, there's more than just picking against spread. There's over-unders, there's parlays, there's teasers where you can buy points. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a straight-up pick against the spread. I'm just giving you what I think. I think I'm about maybe 500, a little under. I've done 2 weeks so far. This is my third week of doing my picks against the spread. So let's see what we can do and get into it. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but I'm sure it creeps in, as most people are. It's just natural. So let's start with Thursday night. We've got the Jags and the Jets. We've got the Jets minus 1.5 here at home. Sounds like no Mike White. Zach Wilson actually didn't play too bad against Detroit. At least I didn't think so. Wasn't great, but wasn't bad. The Jags are really taking off here. They have, the big win last week against Dallas. They beat up on Tennessee the week before. They're still very much alive in the division. They are trending upwards. The Titans seem to be trending downwards. It makes me seem simple here, and I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to take the Jags plus the 1.5. I usually don't like Thursday games. They're hard to bet. Teams playing on short rest. But it seems kind of obvious. And one of my rules is, like, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. But, maybe it's because I'm sick, but I'm not messing around with it here. I like the Jags plus the 1.5 here. I think they cover. All these spreads are courtesy of ESPN.com. So I don't know where you place your bets or where you do it. Obviously, ESPN doesn't have a betting app, but I'm just reading them off ESPN, so that's the spreads I'm getting. Generally, spreads are all going to be within a point or so, no matter where you go. So if it's find somewhere else where it's maybe a little closer, go with it. Moving on to Saturday. Yeah, that's right. Christmas Eve is Saturday, so I got Saturday games this week. So let's talk some Saturday football. Football day early. Can't complain about that, right? Bills and Bears. Bills are -9 in Chicago. Bears are kind of, I think it's been a best case scenario for the Bears this year. Truly, Justin Fields looks promising. 1,000 yards rushing. Obviously, hope the passing game opens up a little bit. Maybe an offseason with Chase Claypool can do that for them. And they're losing. So you're going to get a top, right now, number 2 draft pick in the NFL. So you've got to be excited about that if you're a Bears fan. But, I think coming in, if you're a Bears fan, said Justin Fields shows us something and we get a draft pick, that's the best case scenario. Buffalo looks like they're well on their way to possibly being in the Super Bowl, number 1 seed possibly in the AFC. Really nice win for them on Saturday against Miami. I do like the Bears plus the 9 here, though. The Bears have been pretty competitive. Justin Fields has found magic to keep them in these games. Weather's 14 degrees, cold game, maybe a lot of running. The Bears' defense is a mess, but their offense has been good enough to keep them in. I don't think they win this football game, but I'll take the Bears to cover the plus 9 in this one. Saints at the Browns. Cleveland is -2.5 at home. Cleveland looks like some snow flurries possible there. Cleveland, a nice win last week on Saturday over the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. Deshaun Watson still hasn't found his footing yet, but remember, it's been 2 years since he's played football, so that's understandable. The Saints still very much alive in the NFC South, and truthfully, they may be the best team in this division. Imagine if they had won that game against the Bucks on that Monday night, they'd be sitting in the driver's seat. Unfortunately for them, the Bucks swept them, so it's going to be tough. Andy Dalton playing pretty good football. The defense is good enough. But I am going to go, that's a tough one. I'm actually going to take the Saints plus 2.5 here. Not exactly a Saints weather football game. And the Browns are playing pretty good here. Their defense is really stepping up, but I kind of like the Saints in this one to maybe get this and stay competitive and keep that NFC South open a little bit. Texans at the Titans. The Titans were, 2 weeks ago I said I thought they had a chance to go into Philly and win. They get blown out. They get blown out by Jacksonville. They lose competitively, but they lose to the Chargers. And just to show you how much Vegas thinks the Titans have dropped, they're -3 at home against Houston. Now, Houston has been very competitive the last couple weeks. They hung close in Dallas. Probably should have won the game. You could make a case they should have beaten Kansas City last week as well. So certainly a Texans team that's fighting for Lovie Smith. They have the Bryce Young sweepstakes pretty much locked up here. And Chicago wouldn't take Bryce Young, and neither would Seattle likely if those are the other two teams. Arizona's still in that mix as well. But, part of me wants to take the Texans here. Tennessee just seems to be reeling. I'm going to give Tennessee a shot to have a get-right game here. Again, I don't know where. If this is at 3.5, I don't love it. But at 3, I feel like I'm at least probably getting a push with the Titans here, like worst case scenario. You got to think at home they bounce back and win this game. Houston's still not good. While they played more competitive, they're still not a very good football team. And they could run into somewhere that, the last 2 weeks just kind of drains them and they struggle here in this game. I'm going to take the Titans -3. I don't love it. Out of the games I've done so far, the only one I really like is probably Chicago so far. So I'll let you know at the end, maybe 3 or 4 that I do like. Seattle's at Kansas City, 15 degrees, but no snow it looks like. Kansas City's -10. Seattle's super banged up. You wonder a little bit. You can see the background. I am a Seahawks fan. I'll keep pointing this out. My wife is an Eagles fan. That's why that's there. So it's a cool poster. I do love the old Eagles logos, but I'm not like a Eagles/Seahawks fan. I am a Seahawks fan. She's an Eagles fan. So I do support them for her, obviously, when they're not playing Seattle. But anyways, back to this. Kansas City's -10. Seattle's so banged up. Their run defense, no Brian Monet, probably no Al Woods. Kenneth Walker's questionable. And I'd like to think Seattle has some reasons to hang in this game. Kansas City struggled a little bit in Denver, struggled a little bit in Houston. But I think coming home the safe pick here is the Chiefs -10. I do wonder if Seattle's just not, their trajectory is bad. The 7-7 is fine, but they've looked worse the last month of the season. I think that Thursday game against the Niners was sort of their last stand of the year. Obviously, emotionally, I've done videos on how I think Seattle can still get in. Watch that video if you haven't. I kind of detail how they can get in. But looking at this from a betting neutral, I don't love it. I do think Seattle's offense can move the ball in Kansas City. If Kenneth Walker plays, I could see the running game opening up and Seattle being competitive in this game. And Kansas City's strength, their pass offense, does play into Seattle's better unit on their defense and their pass defense. But I think Pacheco should have a big game. Kansas City should be able to run the ball fine. I don't expect Seattle to really stop Mahomes or Kelsey. Spend too much time on this one. Kansas City -10 is the pick in that one. Giants at the Vikings. Vikings are -4. Giants all but locked up a playoff spot last week with their win over Washington. Essentially, I think they just probably need one more win, even that, maybe not even. But they're in really good shape. Minnesota locks up the North after the largest comeback in NFL history. Crazy to say that, but it was the largest comeback in NFL history. Both teams coming off really emotional wins. Who's going to be having the more high and who's going to have the lower low? Minnesota loves to play these close games. They just don't blow people out. Their point differential is like +2 on the season. The Giants are kind of the same way. I don't view them as uber talented. I think both teams are well coached and play above their talent level. I like the Giants here +4. I think if their pass rush, Thibodeau can come alive again like he did on Sunday night. He can give Cousins some fit. Barkley looked rejuvenated last Sunday. If he can keep that up and they can keep Minnesota's offense off the field, I don't know who wins. I think Minnesota may pull off like a 24-21 win. But I'll take the Giants +4 here. Bengals at the Patriots. Bengals are -3. Bengals with a weird game in Tampa where Tampa was just dominating and then the Bengals just rattle off 34 straight. New England with one of the most, I don't know, I want to say devastating losses, but just in terms of how it happened, just absolutely incredible. You have the Cole touchdown, which looked to be out of bounds, and then you have Jacoby Myers trying to do the lateral. It looked like Stevenson might even score on that play for a minute when he's running it. Then they lateral it backwards. Now, there's no guarantee. I say not the most devastating because it was tied. Like, there's no guarantees they would have won that game in overtime. And if you're a Patriots fan, maybe that's how you just try to look at that game. Like, hey, it went to overtime, we lost. But, I mean, imagine if you were ahead in that. Well, I guess you went lateral if you were ahead. That'd be stupid. But, yeah, just a brutal loss. I'm going to take the Bengals -3 here. Back-to-back road games, tough. And, again, the weather starts factoring in some of these East Coast stadiums, too, with the snow and everything like that possible. But the Patriots, to me, their defense playing really well. Matthew Judon, Uche's coming alive. You know what I mean? But their offense to me is just so bland. I don't trust it. I trust the Bengals more. And I like the -3. You know what I mean? It's right there. It's not too high where you worry about a 3-point last second field goal win. Even if you get that, you cover. So take the Bengals here. Lions -2.5 in Carolina. Carolina, one game I'll give myself a pat on the back for calling. I did take Pittsburgh to go into Carolina and win last week. It was just a classic letdown spot. Carolina goes on the road, big win in Seattle. And, as a Seahawks fan, that stunk. But the truth of the matter is Carolina's just still not a very good football team. They do some things well. They're certainly not the worst team in the league. But they are still missing a lot of pieces to get them back into contention. The Lions have come on. And I've picked against them the last 3 weeks. Nothing personal, Lions fans. I hope you know that. I like the Lions. I'm rooting for them. Well, not really because I want the Seahawks to get in. But, as far as like a fan base, I'm rooting for the Lions. Really gritty win for them at New York, even with Mike White out. That's not an easy game to go get. I think they continue. I can't take Carolina here. You know what I mean? It's just I can't take the Panthers in this game. I don't think Carolina's very good. I think the Lions kind of, when I talk about Seattle's trending down. The Lions are trending up. I'll go with the hot hand here. Give me Detroit -2.5. Falcons at the Ravens. Ravens are -7. Sounds like Lamar Jackson didn't practice. I'll make this quick. If Lamar plays, I'll take the Ravens -7. If he doesn't, I'm going to take Atlanta +7. Atlanta's still hung in there. Like, they're giving Desmond Ridder a shot, which is important. Now, do they look any better? Not really. But they hung in there with New Orleans. They got down early and they didn't quit. I like Arthur Smith. I think he's a good offensive guy. I don't know how well they're doing overall in their development of some of these players, but I'll take Atlanta +7 here. Baltimore's just not. They're kind of in that Tennessee mode. They're winning still, but they're just not impressing me. Overall here. I know they've been without Lamar, and that's obviously the main reason for this, but. Give me Atlanta +7. Washington at San Francisco. San Francisco -7. Hard to go against the Niners. They have just been so good. And even with Brock Purdy, they're not missing a beat at all. They get a big win. They clinched the division on Thursday. They've beat Miami with Brock Purdy. They took care of Tampa with Brock Purdy. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm actually going to take Washington +7 here. You know what? Yeah. I'm going to. I'd like it more at 7.5. I see this as a little bit of a donut game for the Niners. I think the Niners win it. I do. But Washington's defense is pretty good. It's probably Tampa Bay's defense is good. To me, not the best defense Purdy's played. But coming off a division win for the Niners. Now, they did have the extra time. But I do see maybe a little bit of a letdown here. I think the Niners win this game. I really do. But I think Washington comes in there. They can get the running game going a little bit with Robinson, Gibson. I think they can maybe control a little bit of the clock and just keep it close. Again, I don't think Washington wins, but this game to me has got backdoor cover written all over it too. This has got 24-9 with 40 seconds to go, and Heineke throwing a touchdown pass. I guess they go for 2. That would be a push if you took the Niners. So I don't know. That's a tough one, actually. The more I'm talking about it, I would love it more at 7.5. But I'm going to go with the Commanders here +7 with a little bit of a backdoor cover here. I just think the Niners coming off such an emotional game in terms of winning the division. And I think eventually Brock Purdy is going to show some signs. I even thought he showed a little bit in Seattle. He did have some throws under pressure that were not great. Now, Seattle's defense can't get any pressure. Washington can do that a little bit. Again, I think the Niners win this football game. But I am going to take the Commanders +7 here. We'll see. Eagles at the Cowboys. Cowboys are -5. Jalen Hurts is out for this game. Gardner Minshew will go. Minshew's got to be one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. Listen, the division's almost over now. One more Eagles win or Cowboys loss clinches it for Philly. You know what I mean? So you could almost say they could rest some people, but you still want to get that division clinched because nothing's guaranteed until it happens. But certainly takes a lot of the fun out of this game that it might have had Dallas beaten Jacksonville or Philly dropped another game somewhere. I'm going to take Dallas -5 here. I think the Eagles, this is a potential playoff matchup. They're not going to want to show their hand too much here. So I think they struggle a little bit in this one. And I think a close game where Dallas sort of pulls away late in this one. I'm going to take Dallas -5. The Immaculate Reception anniversary game, and you can't talk about the Immaculate Reception without a rest in peace to Franco Harris, who passed away today. Sad that, he passed away a couple days before this game, which was the anniversary of that amazing 72 divisional game against the Raiders. So hopefully they'll have some sort of tribute there for him. A tremendous player in Steelers history, one of the best running backs, Hall of Famer, and a Seahawk for a year as well in 1983 or 84, I believe. So rest in peace, and my thoughts and prayers are with the Harris family, definitely. With that said, you got to go Pittsburgh -2.5, right? I mean, emotional game, Christmas Eve night, cold game, snowy game. Give me the Steelers. Give me Mike Tomlin's boys who are playing good football. Pittsburgh is quietly, I don't think they're going to get in, but I said this about Pittsburgh a few times. They're kind of like a Tom Brady team. You just don't count them out. I'm never, ever going to count the Steelers out. That's been that since Chuck Noll took over there in '69. That's always kind of been how they play football. And I'll take them here at home. I think the Raiders struggle in that environment. Let's move on to the Christmas Day games here and then the Monday Night Football game. Christmas Day, we've got the Packers and the Dolphins. Miami's -4. Something tells me Green Bay actually keeps this one close. I don't know who wins, but I see a field goal game either way. Give me the Packers +4. That offense is starting to come alive a little bit. Got A.J. Dillon going a little bit on Monday. Watson's been fantastic. Miami's had a lot of losses in a row. 3. Maybe not a lot, but they've had 3 losses in a row. And sometimes it's tough to bounce back from that. You need it's always a gritty win when you lose a lot in a row to get that winning feeling back. So I'm going to take Green Bay +4 here. The game of the year, Broncos are at the Rams. Denver's -2.5. Russell Wilson is back. I honestly, at this point, don't know if that helps or hurts Denver. Baker looked a little more mortal on Monday night against a better defense and on the road than he did the previous Thursday. I don't know on this one. You know what? Give me the Rams +2.5 here at home. I don't know. I just, I don't trust the Broncos yet here in any spot given to me. Tampa Bay at Arizona. Tampa Bay +7.5. Maybe Trace McSorley at quarterback. I can't take Tampa. Excuse me, -7.5 against anybody. I don't love this at all, but give me Arizona +7.5. Tampa has constantly been letting me down. I've picked them against Cincinnati. I actually picked them to win that football game. I thought they would. Got up early. I didn't pick them in San Francisco, but I didn't expect them to get blown out like that. You know what? Give me Arizona +7.5. I don't care. I'm kind of done with Tampa. I don't believe in them anymore. And it's crazy to think because I just said about Brady with kind of what I said about the Steelers, and I won't count Brady out, but I don't believe in this team anymore. They're not good. I don't think their defense is solid. But I can't take them. I do think they win the game. If we're talking straight up picks, yeah, give me Tampa. But that's a lot of points. I'll take Arizona. Monday night, Chargers at the Colts. Chargers -4.5. Colts going with Nick Foles. Colts are the most random team in the league. I can't get a grip on them to save my life. Give me the Chargers -4.5. I don't know. I don't love it either. Chargers are not one of those teams that seems to make games closer. Maybe they need to be. But I'm not taking the Colts. So let's go through. I'll give you 3 games I like, and then do with that what you will, and that'll be the end of the picks. I like the Bengals -3 in New England. I think that's a pretty good bet there. You're getting a team, a much better team, and a team coming off a devastating loss. I kind of like the Bears +9, not my favorite. And do you really want your money in the hands of the Bears? I don't know. You know what? Give me the Lions -2.5. You got a good football team on the road. I know road games are tough, and this is going to be their second They played Green Bay last week of the season, so second kind of road game in a row. So tough to do that for a young team to win gritty back-to-back games on the road. But I like Detroit there. I like Dallas minus the 5, actually. I really do. And yeah, that would be my 3. Kind of like Green Bay, but I don't trust Green Bay yet. So the ones I like the most, I like Dallas minus the 5, Lions minus 2.5, and the Bengals minus 3. Those are my picks. I feel like I took a lot of favorites. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't. Not really now that I'm looking at it. Remember, all these picks are against the spread. I think I gave you most of my straight-out picks, but let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.